Hello, fellow Toastmasters. As I mentioned before, my name is Edee Phillips, and the title of my icebreaker is Who is she? So, to kind of answer that question, I am 29 years old. I grew up here in Orange County, California. Growing up, I was a pretty bright kid. I was very outgoing, and I considered myself a natural leader. In elementary school, for example, I ran for student class president in 5th grade, and the requirement was to do a speech, a recorded speech. It was going to be broadcasted to the whole school. So you could either do just a regular speech, or a poem, or a skit. And I always like to do everything above and beyond. So of course I did a skit. I dressed up as Britney Spears. And I did this skit telling the whole school, you should vote for Edee because she's so great, and I'm Britney Spears, and I'm taking my time out on tour to tell all you guys how great Edee is, so vote for Edee. And naturally, of course, I won. So, so these types of things continued, as a kid, and I loved doing extracurricular activities, and I loved just being somewhat of a leader. Then growing up, when I was in high school, I moved around a lot. I went to 4 different high schools, so I had to develop communication skills and learn how to make friends very quickly and easily everywhere I went. So that's kind of what I did. Eventually, later in my teens, I started to drift from that, and I became very involved in drugs and alcohol. And that ultimately took over my life for a very long time. I basically forgot about all of the great qualities that I had and put those to the side, and was, I guess you could say, spellbound by, by these negative things in my life. And to be honest, I thought I was still living with integrity. I wasn't stealing from my family, I wasn't stealing from my friends in a sense of like money or material things, but I was stealing their happiness, and I was stealing my own happiness, and I would never show up to, or rarely show up to, family events. I started to isolate, and eventually I was just essentially delusional. I became someone that I didn't recognize anymore. I didn't recognize that young, bright, outgoing girl that I used to be, and instead I was living in a very dark place, and I lost myself. However, about 3 years ago, I came into recovery, and I started to find that light again, and I started to do a lot of self-reflection, and took the time to truly work on myself and find that bright, outgoing, funny, natural born leader of a girl that I was before. I learned how to live with respect and honesty and integrity. I learned how to be, the daughter, the sister, the friend that I was once before. I have an amazing relationship with my family again. They trust me. I get to show up to all the events I get to be a part of, and truly live an amazing life. So to answer the question of who is she, I'm a reliable person today. I strive to help others, and I continue to try to be the best version of myself every day. Thank you.
All right.